One of the most frustrating skin issues, hands down, has to be spider veins, which show up on your face and your legs. But these tiny little spider veins aren't really broken veins at all. And the good news is they don't have to be forever. And I'm going to share with you what you can do about them and how to prevent them in today's video. Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be discussing that favorite subject of mine and yours, spider veins, which really aren't a favorite subject of anyone, and it would be nice if we could just swat them away, kind of like a real spider. Now, if you're new to the channel and not familiar with who I am, I'm Chris. I'm a skincare expert of 34 years, and I'm here on this channel helping you find skincare that will work for you, not empty your wallet, and not do you more harm than good. So if that's the kind of content that you're interested here on YouTube, please be sure and subscribe and hit that little notification bell so that you know when my new videos are up every week. So what are spider veins anyway? Well, even though they look like little broken veins or capillaries, they really are not that at all. They're actually growths of blood vessels in your skin layer that become more visible as we get older and skin thins, or when there's been a lot of irritation, inflammation, or trauma to the skin, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. So spider veins aren't broken. They're just extensions of your regular normal sized blood vessels deeper in the skin. And just like your other blood vessels, provide nutrients and oxygen to the skin cells. So what causes these things? Well, of course, you can have a hereditary, is that a word? Hereditary? Well, you can be predisposed to having them or to them being visible, and they're more visible usually in lighter complected individuals. So the darker your complexion, the more melanin you have, the harder it is for them to be seen. But everybody has them, I promise you. Now, when I was in college and doing theater and they wanted to make you look older, they actually drew those little veins on your face, around your nose and your lips and on your cheeks. So yeah, we do all equate those with aging, but the reason for them really comes from trauma to the skin. Sometimes diseases of the skin like rosacea, psoriasis, and eczema can create them. Also, things like sun damage, drinking too much alcohol throughout one's life can lead to a propensity, again, to having these, especially around the areas of the nose. So think about it. If you're always rubbing your eyes, or you have allergies, and you're blowing your nose all of the time, you're going to probably have more of these growths of veins because of that trauma. So clearly, prevention is obviously one of the key things we want to talk about, and that is making sure that we take care of allergies, that we use sunscreen to prevent sun exposure and that accumulated sun damage that happens over time. And believe it or not, to make sure we are not using skincare products that are actually causing inflammation on an ongoing basis on the skin, because your skin is going to react by producing these tiny little veins. So let's say you have these tiny little veins. I have some of them myself. What can you do about them? Well, obviously the easiest and cheapest thing to do is to just cover them up. Now, these little veins are red, so we know that green pigment cancels out red. So oftentimes I recommend things like a BB cream or a concealer that has a green base to help cancel out those tiny little veins. So also help even out your complexion. So these type of creams work very well for foundation or light foundation for those of you who wear cosmetics. They also work for guys. I use this all the time when I go out, especially if I'm going to be out in bright lights or sunlight. This really does help cover them and make them less visible. Now, as far as topicals go and what you can do to actually help reduce them, there's not a whole lot that we can do to the surface of the skin to make these disappear, but there are a couple of things that have been proven to be very effective. In topicals, niacinamide along with caffeine in your skincare routine can help shrink those outer edges or the very ends or tips of those little blood vessels, making them appear to disappear, especially around the eyes. We've seen that caffeine really can help depuff and constrict those little blood vessels. So it does work for telangiectasias, which, by the way, telangiectasia is the scientific name for these little buggers. The other thing that has been shown to be extremely effective, and it's not surprising because it helps thicken the skin over time, it helps produce more collagen, is retinols or retinoic acid. So things like prescription tretinoin, of course you need to see a dermatologist for that, or your lighter strength retinol moisturizers or retinoic acid actually will help over time hide these as the skin thickens back up. So again, as we age and our skin gets a little bit thinner, they oftentimes become more visible. Now, we are not talking about the larger veins that are swollen. Those are called varicose veins. A lot of people get those in the forehead and the temple and in the legs, but we're talking about spider veins. So these topicals can be very effective. The first two, niacinamide and caffeine, kind of on the instantaneous side, will help with that. But in the long term, retinol has been shown to really make a very big difference in these type of capillaries and the visibility of them on your skin. Did I get that all out? Now, if the topicals aren't really doing it for you, there are in-office treatments. They are all laser treatments that help with these. There's some of the same treatments that we use for varicose veins, but these particular ones I'm going to talk to you about today range anywhere from $400 to $800 a treatment. Almost all of them take at least 2 treatments, some of them 3 to 4, so that's something to keep in mind, but they do work. Lasers are very effective because we're able to address the actual blood vessel without damaging the surrounding skin. The first is called V-beam, and it's a laser that puts out bursts of light that affect and help disintegrate the very tips of those tiny little capillaries or telangiectasias, shrinking them down, making them less visible under the surface of the skin. Quite painless, very little downtime, if any. However, it does take 2 to 3 treatments to see the kind of results that you would be looking for. And one of the most popular laser treatments is the IPL, or intense pulsating light. Again, works similarly to the V-beam, where we put light into the skin, not affecting surrounding tissues, but actually addressing and oxidizing the very ends of those tiny little capillaries, making them disappear. Now, one thing about the IPL laser that you need to know is it works better on lighter complected individuals because it does interact with and target melanin in the skin. So if you have a darker complexion or you have a propensity, we've used that word a lot today, for like freckling or hyperpigmentation or melasma, this is probably not going to be one that your esthetician or your dermatologist is going to recommend. They're going to probably recommend something like the ND-YAG or YAG laser, or the KTP, which I often trip up my words and call it KFC, like Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't know why. It's just something in my brain that works that way. But KTP, these lasers work a little bit deeper in the skin. They work a little bit differently. They don't target the melanin in the skin. They don't activate those cells to bring out more coloration, but they do help shrink over time those capillaries. Again, what we're doing is we're really not removing them. We're taking the tips, or shrinking them, or thickening up the skin layer so that they are less visible. Some people get complete invisibility of the veins. Don't you wish you could get complete invisibility sometimes for yourself? Well, you can do it with these veins and these type of treatments. Again, all of them range anywhere from $300 or $400 all the way up to $800. So shop around. Be sure you do your due diligence. Check the references of whoever you're using, whether it be a medical esthetician or a dermatologist. Don't try to do these type of lasers at home on your face, because again, there are some side effects that we want to watch for and make sure don't happen, like hyperpigmentation and melasma. We don't want to add problems to the skin. And certainly the bottom line here is to try to prevent them by protecting your skin from sun damage and inflammation from skincare products or irritants on an ongoing basis. Now, for more information on how to perfect your skincare routine and get your best skin ever, please be sure and check out these videos coming up next. They will help you do that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay beautiful. Love you guys, and I'll see you over on the next video. Got a skincare question you want answered? Just type Chris Gibson and the topic in the YouTube search bar, and the video will come up.